Imagine this. It's the future. You strap on your robot legs, hike Everest before lunch, grab a smoothie, and still have enough energy to argue with someone in the comments. Sounds amazing. Or are we just one firmware update away from becoming the fat people on hover chairs from Wall-E? What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter from Panda here. Today, we're doing a quick philosophical gut check. No deep dives here, no hour-long breakdowns. I just have a question that's been rattling around in my head, and I think it's worth talking about because honestly, nobody's asked it. So I did a full episode on the Hypershell Exoskeleton, and if you missed it, go watch it, please. I like collecting that half-cent for the video. Anyway, the thing is totally fetch, but the short version here is that the Hypershell is a wearable AI-powered exoskeleton. You strap it on your hips and legs. It weighs about 4.5 pounds, it packs 800 watts of output, and it reduces the physical effort of walking by around 20%, cycling by 40%, and cuts muscle activation in your hip flexors by up to 64% during each stride. It won Best of Innovation in Robotics at CES 2025. It's real, it's here, people are buying it, and I'm intrigued by it. But look, for a lot of people, this thing is genuinely life-changing. I think about my mom. She's at an age where certain hikes, certain trips, certain adventures, she's quietly crossed them off the list. Not because she doesn't want to do them, but because her body just can't cover the ground it used to. Now, something like the Hypershell could put those experiences back on this table. Hike with the family again, summit something, see something breathtaking that she'd basically written off as a younger person's experience. That's not just cool, that's profound. That hits me right here. But then, I watch a guy who is clearly already in fantastic shape, strap one of these on, fit dude, could hike 12 miles on his own, no problem, and now he's using the exoskeleton, and I start thinking, wait a second here. Here's the question that I can't shake. Will we use this extra capacity to do more, or will we use it to do the same, just with less effort? Because those are two very different outcomes, and one of them is kind of a problem. Think about it like this. Let's say you're going to hike up to the top of a hill, 5 miles. It takes everything that you have. You'd come home cooked, satisfied, maybe a little broken. You know, the kind of good broken, where your muscles are ripped, not ripped. Now you strap on the Hypershell, your effort drops by 20 to 30%. You've got gas left in the tank when you hit the summit. Now, option A, you do another peak. You bank that saved energy and you spend it somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? You experience more. Same total output, maximized adventure. That's the dream. That's the pitch. But there's an option B. You hit the summit, you feel fine, and you think, you know what? I'm good. That was great. Let's go home. And you head back and you spend 30% less energy than you would have. And now you're just a little softer than you were yesterday. Which one are you? Let's be honest. Because here's what I know about human nature, and it's not particularly flattering. Given the choice between doing more and doing the same with less effort, most people, most of the time, will choose the path of least resistance. That's not an insult, it's biology. Our brains are wired in a certain way to conserve energy. The instinct to coast when coasting is available is as old as the species itself. We've watched this play out over and over again. Escalators showed up, so stairs got a little lonelier. Cars got comfortable, so walking got optional. Remote controls made it so we don't even have to stand up and change the channel. Every labor-saving invention in history comes with a silent tax, a small withdrawal from the effort account. Individually, each one seems harmless. Collectively, though, well, we're a nation where a significant chunk of the population considers a trip from the couch to the refrigerator moderate cardio, and is it even worth doing during the commercial breaks? And now, we want to give everyone robot legs. I want to be clear. I am not anti-exoskeleton, kind of a term that's probably pretty new. Listen, I am genuinely excited about this tech. In fact, I want to be real with you. I'm not in the best shape of my life right now. I'm working on it. And for someone like me, the Hypershell actually sounds kind of perfect. Not as a shortcut, but as an amplifier, keeping me involved in the things that I want to do while I'm working on increasing my stamina. So instead of maxing out at about 4 or 5 miles, maybe I can push 7, 8, 9, see more, explore more. And if I'm going to be exhausted either way, I'm just covering more ground to get there. And that's a win. But, and this is a big but, because I like big butts, that only works if I actually push myself to exhaustion. It only works if I take that surplus energy and then spend it instead of pocketing it. And it requires a level of intentionality that, let's be honest with ourselves, most of us don't always bring to a Saturday morning hike. Now, what about the athletes? The already fit crowd using these things? Should elite hikers, trail runners, serious endurance athletes be strapping on exoskeletons? That's where it gets interesting. There's a review out there where a very fit person, decades of running, kickboxing, cycling, straps on the Hypershell Pro X and notes that the assist is real. The hamstrings are still working hard on steep inclines. So it's not like it eliminates the effort. But there's also this quote from a tech reviewer that kind of stopped me. And it said, after extended use, turning it off makes your legs feel noticeably heavier. A reminder of how much work the Hypershell does for you. So if you reflect on that for a second, your legs feel heavier when it's off because they got used to the help. That's not nothing. That's your body adapting to a new baseline. And bodies are ruthlessly efficient. They will shed capability they're not using. Use it or lose it isn't just a motivational poster. It's literally how muscle retention works. If the exoskeleton is doing 30% of the work and you don't compensate by doing 30% more distance or more elevation, your body is going to quietly start filing for a refund on that 30%. So yes, done wrong, these things could absolutely make you softer, weaker, blubbier, fatter, less capable of doing the things you actually want to do. And that brings me back to Wall-E, because it's funny, and I say this with full self-awareness as someone who enjoys the snacky snacks. It's funny because it might be prophetic, not in the distant future, science fiction type of way, but in 20 years from now, hover loungers sold on Amazon kind of way. The tech in Wall-E wasn't malicious. Nobody in the movie was trying to ruin humanity. They just kept making things easier and easier and easier until the effort was gone entirely, and so was everything that came with it. That's the quiet danger here, not the exoskeleton itself. The exoskeleton is a tool. It's a phenomenal, jaw-dropping, totally fetch piece of tech that I want to have in my own little collection. The danger is the question of the character. The danger is whether the person wearing it asks, what can I do now that I couldn't do before? Or whether they ask, how little do I have to do now? I genuinely don't know how this plays out across society, and I think people with mobility challenges, aging bodies, injuries, or limitations, I think this tech is almost unambiguously great. I think for people who already have strong internal motivation and a genuine drive to push themselves on a constant basis, it's probably a performance enhancer in the best sense, like a better pair of running shoes or the athletic pads that don't chafe your taint region. But for the average person, the person who was already looking for a reason to turn around a mile before the summit, I'm a little worried that the exoskeleton just gives them a very comfortable excuse. So here's what I want to know. If you had a Hypershell, would you use the energy savings to go farther and harder? Or would you use it to do the same thing you're doing now, just with less suffering? I kind of feel like I know which camp I'm in, but I don't want to say it out loud. Anyway, tech isn't the question. We are the question. Peter Von Panda, out.